Can't, but it'll work.
Just getting it.
Okay, we
Getting a few
are.
months around.
So what we're going to do is have you both spar for a little bit. If I cry hold, I want you to freeze in place as best as possible, because I will potentially be wanting to point out or correct something. And if you do the hold, oh, reset to a safety position, then we'll be throwing that away. So don't take wounds, just call them out. He's left-handed. One of those, that's okay. Take your guards and have a care. Okay, come back this way a little bit more, so we're a little broad on while we can.
Okay. Okay. Like dead. Yep.
Okay, one more pass. Okay. Pop your tops, take a breather. Do you work with Elena, or did you just write down with her?
Yeah.
Or work with her a little?
I'm her first student.
Okay. So is she focused on Italian and Capoferro with you, or just kind of more generic? Or do you know? Is she sneaking it in there?
I'm all over the place.
Okay.
I've studied everything from bolognese to the evolution of the rapier to the evolution of the Spanish styles.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about just initiating stuff. When you get a chance, go ahead and put your gloves back on and pick up your blade.
Towards the end, I wanted to give you some left hand on left hand, because I'm sure you don't see that very much either. So hopefully
Some, but not a whole lot now.
see some different angles to play with too.
So first of all, you are in tierce straight up and down a lot, which means you give me the flat of your blade, which tierce is equally bad at everything, unless I'm going for a low line attack. My strong preference is strong edge on. Do you understand? So,
Yep.
so there. And if I come to here, there we go. So you're starting with that, and then you're doing a lot of try and find something, which if you don't have a plan for that, what you're really doing is giving them the template to just go straight through the attack. Now I'm very big on blade control. I'm all about, I'm going to treat this as if you hit me, I die. Not in the, I'm going to berserk or whatever, but I want to control you and not let you hit me. I'm old, slow, and fat, so I got to have something going for me. So I want to shut things down. So first of all, an SEA heavy rapier is very thrust oriented. The cuts are not percussive with the draw cuts and stuff. So it's all about getting my foible down to your fort so you have control. So I've been quoting this all day today. Fabris has a wonderful cryptic phrase of the sword is strongest in the direction in which it points. Or stronger, strongest, one of those. Which basically means I want to, it's not the fact that it's pointing that way, but is it pointing left or right? This is much stronger than this, which is much stronger than that, as far as my ability to control your sword. So if you think about a boxer, that straightforward jab is the fastest and strongest blow that they can throw. So for the most part, you want your elbow in front of your shoulder to your wrist all the way out your blade. So you want that motion there. You weren't doing this too much, but there's a tendency to bring the elbow back or float it out. And you really got to kind of tuck it in there. And then secondly, go ahead and take your guard here. So left-handed, you typically, if you're fighting another left-hander, I call you both same-handed. You both have it in the same arm, and you're opposite-handed. So typically, most lefties want to stay on the outside line because same hand on same hand, you're comfortable on the inside line, so you keep them there. So if you're on the outside line for him, you want your point roughly in front of your opposite shoulder. If you get on the inside line, oh no, sorry. He's on your inside line, so you actually want to bring your point in front of your opposite shoulder. Don't bring your guard in. So you're going to feel this pommel and how it presses against your arm. And that's going to be your, I don't have to look at it cue of, am I right? So you roll strong edge there, which is great. And you have this point in front of your opposite shoulder. And that ensures all by itself that you have a reasonably strong angle into his blade. So now, do you feel like your inside line is covered? Or not so much? So it's not too bad. So if he extends, just extend part way and stop, then all you have to do is count, don't bring your guard over, counter extend into his sword. And you get control there. So if he goes on the outside line, rather than your point in front of your opposite shoulder, you want your point in front of the same shoulder. So you don't bring your guard out, you don't move your elbow up, you just roll your hand and turn it a little bit so your point is, and again, that ensures that strong angle into his sword, which means if nothing else, with a little bit of pressure and forward motion, he's going to end up down here where you have better control. If you face that person that likes to do the twitchy stuff, I will pick a line, and I'm not going to worry about it until he gets in the line I want, and then I'm going to worry about it. So I'm not going to try and follow him. I'm not going to do this because you're now reacting to him. You're in obedience to what he wants you to do. He's making you twitch, and he's in the driver's seat. So if he's a twitchy guy, anything over here, if you try something over there, I can just back up. I can do a little twitch in the way I go, and I'm waiting for him to come back to my inside line, and then I take advantage of it. So don't try and chase it. But for me, 99% of the time, I'm in a bastard tierce court. So I had that 45 there. Bastard is just halfway between the two. Or I'm in a bastard second tierce. So that gives me a strong edge, but I'm not all the way over. So I have a strong edge there, and I can adapt up, and I can adapt down as I need to. So those two angles are where I spend 99% of my time until I react into something else. Now, as a lefty, you will experience both sides of secund and secund and prime, because most left-handed fighters like that over-the-top shot. So I'm going to go into secund, but if you keep pressing it, if you try and come over the top, I'm going to go up into prime. The problem, and the same thing if I do the shot to you, then I want to go secund and prime. So you've got half of it right. The defense needs to go forward, not out. You don't want to push out. But when you're going into prime especially, so just extend a little bit and hold it. So when I go into prime, I don't want to do this. I don't want to push out. I want to go forward. Now my head is still a little bit exposed, so I'm going to actually bring my head down below my hand. My hand is actually right about shoulder level. I'm bringing my head down, and I'm squaring up. So what's I do with my offhand? Close the second open line. So same thing for you as I throw here, right there, and you can bring your hand, bring it forward, and your hand then naturally comes over to close the open line. So that pressing out, if you push out and I get off, now you've got to bring it all back to do something. So you want to go forward. Now the thing to be careful of when you go forward is, if I'm pressing strongly, you go forward and you're going to thump as I close. You can pull it back. You can also, as I go forward, I can essentially back my body up a little bit rather than going forward that way. And you can emphasize it by the body lean you did, but you can also take this foot and go as far sideways as you want to go. So I can go here, or whatever, and that works rather well. But prime is forward, not up, not out. cock it back, so up forward. And you'll see that a lot more on both sides of that as a left-handed fighter. So pay attention to that angles. Strong angle gives you a lot better control. You were, like I said, you were staying in tier, so you're giving them the flat a lot. And then, at least for me, I don't tend to change lines unless I've given you some kind of an invitation to get you in motion, and then I want to make advantage of it, because just doing this is, I don't know what I'm doing, and he's going to blow straight through if he knows what he's doing. Okay?
One thing I did notice, and it may also be because of the train with the pianos over here, when we were on guard, and if you would want to come and change your line or to like go into, it would be to your left, when you would come over here and you'd be on the outside, you would actually cock this elbow back out, which is then giving me more measure too, so you have a better attack line, and it's also bringing your sword off for your defense too, so everything is being pushed out and away to the motion you're wanting to go. So as soon as you take your cross step over, you've given me more range than you want, so you have to then reset as you're going through. You're giving me an additional measure time and everything. And you did that 3 times in a row, so at that point, the first one's like, The second one, I just kind of did a nice little shot down to your leg and everything. You covered it okay, but that third one's like, okay, he's doing it every time. Both times. So just kind of keep an eye on that when you're doing your circle steps back. That elbow is starting to follow through with you. And then as soon as that happens, you're giving me a whole bunch more measure. If I'm just staying in line with you, you're not seeing me get closer, but you've given me a whole additional bunch of range that now I can take advantage of in both time and place.
Okay. So go ahead and armor back up. Get your legs together. There you go. That's good. Better control now.
There you go. Just remember, get your head behind the sword, bring that sword up with it.
Better. More forward.
There you go. Good on the drop. There you go. Good sleeve, but still, right movement. Yep. Your tips starting to drift up in your movement. So as soon as you come back online, everything is having to push through your elbow and the tips coming up high. You're having to redirect. You're losing your angle of attack every time. Bring it down. There you go.
Not too far down, but
Yeah. Right about here. There. Yes.
hold. Take your guards. Basically, what it's talking about is if you look at now, is your blade longer or shorter than his or same? Don't look.
It may be a
Don't-
little longer.
Actually, no, it's a little shorter. Bring your point down. There you go. So, yeah. Okay, it's a good thing to notice. But when we're talking out here, it doesn't matter so much. So right here, you're at equity. The problem is if you bring it up too far, even though you've got his foible more in your fort, you are starting to be out of presence, and so you have to take the time to bring your sword back into presence, into basically a hand span out within that profile there is where you can hit him directly. Otherwise, you need to move it there. So you obviously want to bring it down, but not so far that you reverse things. So you got to find that good sweet spot. Something we did not cover, but sometimes when you are down here and you get a little bit of a disadvantage, a nice simple way to regain advantage is, in general, lift your tip up about an inch, bring it over about 2-3 inches. Now, what happened to the angle? You went from here to there. Another thing that may help is do about a half to a quarter extension. Basically, what are you doing? You're taking your fork and you're shoving it towards point of intersection. So, face me. So, you ever fight someone that does that a lot?
Yeah.
Everyone does. Everyone has those. You look reasonably strong, so you're in the mid to upper end of arm strength stuff, but you still don't necessarily want to fight that fight. And there's going to be some point of no return that you can't easily recover from. But before that point, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage, and it's a small movement, literally, typically an inch up, maybe push forward a little bit, and 2 to 3 inches over. Don't move your guard at all, just move your tip, and you completely change the angle of things. And that can get you from, uh-oh, not good, to I'm doing fine. I will often do that, like if someone likes to press just a little bit. So right now I'm actually quite a bit off, but I'm feeling comfortable here. I'll say, okay, fine, I'll sit here, and when I'm ready to go, and I did that by shoving my sword forward at the same time I lifted with strong angle and hit. So you're comfortable, take it back, here we go. And obviously you can do that from the other side. So you can do that as a reaction to get out of a bad situation defensively. You can do it as an offense to, we're at equity, here we go. And now as I initiate my attack, I'm going to strengthen my control of your sword so I can make my hit. You want to keep that movement small because it doesn't need to be very big, and you don't want to bring your point far out of presence. So typically, maybe an inch of lift, 2 to 4 inches, but usually 2 to 3 inches sideways. And if you need to, extend your arm forward a little bit. And all that will take you from I'm in a bad place to I'm in a good place. And that's a huge difference. As a lefty on a righty, a lot of fighters won't be as used to the angles you're coming from, so it's even better for you to be able to take advantage of that sort of behavior and go, ha, here we go. You think you got it? No, you don't. So, did you have some questions on the stuff we covered? Did you want to kind of cover something else? We've got about 5 minutes to wrap up before we have to move to your...
No, not really. That's really interesting because the way I've always kind of trained to deal with those overbearing situations is to slash the pressure and start moving.
Mm-hmm. And if, again, there's that line of you can't get out of it, and especially if they push that far, that's actually one of my preferred moves is to just yield to it and get out of there one way or another. Worst case scenario, like in that case, like if you push that strongly on me, I'll just drop and go to a wall of you can't get past this kind of a thing. If you go too far. But if it's not too far yet, you don't want to give up at this point, and the rest of that move is too slow. But a little bit of a lift, and you're not shoving your guard around, you're not moving anything else. A little bit of a lift, a little bit of sideways, and it really can be as much as 2 inches of tip travel can make a huge difference in the angle of your blade into your opponent's blade. So, not too bad. Suddenly, here we go. Now, I don't want, what a lot of people unfortunately do is they'll try and fish around to get that same angle, but now I've thrown my elbow out, and I'm shortening things and weakening things. So I'm going to do this, and you're going to feel a little bit of a push, but it's not a huge push, so it may not wake you up to how bad of a situation you're in. A good friend Ernesto has this, like a Portuguese proverb about nice chicken, happy chicken, peaceful chicken, dead chicken. It's like, I'm not going to make you feel bad until it's too late. And there we go. So we're about at equity, and then when it's ready, I threw my sword forward, I increase the angle, I pop down into it all in one motion. So you're fine, too late. And you can do that you can do that as well. So from here, don't bring your guard in, but you've got the strong edge over, So here we are, you're that lefty, you got that outside line, I'm feeling pretty good. No, don't shove over, push forward, and there you go. You want to get me in motion before you bring your guard over, because if you bring your guard over too quickly, I'm just going to throw it back into it and take control. So but once you extend your arm a little bit, or you tip a little bit, once you get me in motion there, now you can start to throw me over, especially as I resist and get you there, or you get me there actually. In that case, I'm through. But a little bit of tip travel makes a huge difference. Practicing wise, you can be sparring and just go, I got the advantage. I got the advantage. I don't have the advantage. I got the advantage. In addition to that kind of movement, a side sit. So I didn't move your blade. What I do, here's my target area. And now I kept that line closed there, and I move my target area into the safe zone. So I'm not, it's 6 of one, half of the other, half a dozen of the other. What am I doing to control your sword and protect my target? Here we go. Okay? Alrighty.